Helping Americans in AMP live today, 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Going to go over pre-foreclosures, NODs, NOTs, Lis Pendens, low-hanging fruit, and all that other awesome stuff. So this is new. We're in the group and exclusively in the group only. I usually don't share content like this unless you've come aboard and you became a mentee and you're working with us exclusively to do deals across the United States. But we're going to put this stuff inside this free private group and only inside this free private group. You won't see it floating around on Facebook or other platforms and things of that nature. It may be locked up and we may just open it up. But the bottom line is we're going to share some awesome stuff with you today. So there's some links. We're kind of doing something different. There is a link if you actually want to be part of the chat or you want to be even included with your mug and your face and you want to, share what you kind of talk, kind of like Zoom, but on a more intimate type basis. We're going to share this stuff. So join the group, get the group. If you hopefully you're inside the group, obviously, and you're seeing this stuff. I'm going to share a deal as well. So let me see what we got. We're just going to get this set up. Spend a couple of minutes doing that. We got an actual case study I'm going to go over with you, guys and gals. The bottom line is it's a property in Northern California. Now, this can be done across the United States, obviously. This low-hanging fruit. A lot of people don't want to work it for the simple reason as, let me see what we got here for a second. Apply one, okay. Oh, let me check something out really quick, if you don't mind. And let me see what we got here. I'm going to go to discussion. Inside of the group. Should be streaming live. I'm not sure. It's the thing about this stuff. Technology, gotta love it, right? So I'm going to click this. Oh, it's going to be okay, cool. Here we are. So it's actually created an event inside the group. So we are live, and hopefully others can see it. If not, it will be recorded, and it's going to be inside this group. If you decide to come aboard and become a mentee at the end of the day, depending on what level you come in at, you'll always have access to this stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and just go with this and go back to the platform. Okay. So pre-foreclosures. Pre-foreclosures are awesome, right? Pre-foreclosures, for me anyways, last cycle into this cycle, and some others are like, hey, you know what? Pre-foreclosures are a pain in the butt. Or if you're an agent or a broker, sometimes they don't want you working them, or you decide you don't want to work them. But they are gold. I call them bags of gold, right? There's gold out there that you can lock up, and you're helping your fellow American because when you help them, whether it's getting it to the point where they don't have an auction and you save their home and get it sold, or you acquire the property and help them move on with their life, within 7 to 8, 9 months down the road, they're getting credit card offers, which basically means that because it's back on either the house is back on the books as good if you went sub two and took it over with creative real estate investing, or you're able to do some type of hybrid and get it sold for them and it does not go to foreclosure or the auction, then the same thing, right? The loan gets paid, the debt gets paid, they get to move on with their lives. You made a couple of bucks. The investor's happy because they're gonna got a discounted type property that's probably gonna need some work. So it's a win-win-win situation. Win for the seller, win for the investor, and then win for you, us, and the ones that are here. We get paid last, and you should get paid last as well at the end of the day, unless you're doing a table closing of some sort, and that happens too. I'm not going to get into it, but let's talk about pre-foreclosures. What the hell is a pre-foreclosure? Some people will say, well, pre-foreclosure means that it go back to the bank. Is it a pre-foreclosure status? It's a term that we use, I use, AHA, AMP Live, means that a pre-foreclosure just means that it's in foreclosure. A notice of default, so NOD is a notice of default. That's what that stands for. NOT stands for a notice of trustee sale. Okay, notice of trustee sale. Let me go here, do something really quick. Click this chat overlay. I'm going to click this here. I'm going to go ahead and bring up a specific property, but let's get to the details of what a pre-foreclosure is. And we'll go from there. Okay, so a pre-foreclosure is an NOD, notice of default. That means they missed their payments for about 30, 60, 90 days, usually 90 days plus. And then they're going to record it. They're going to record a notice of default. And when they record that notice of default, um, they're going to get letters and things of that nature. And the payments are going to start stacking up. Now, right now, because we had the Chinese virus thing go on, we had a forbearance. That forbearance basically means that there's about 18 months there where nobody made their payments, or some made payments, or they made bulk payments, and so instead of having 20 or 30,000 or $40,000 behind in back payments, we're seeing 60, 70, 80, and 150 plus in back payments, but there's still a bunch of equity. That's a good thing, because some of these people who've gotten in trouble or whatever the situation is, life happens, right? They got 2, 3, 4% interest rates. That's what we'll talk a little bit about, sub two cash outs or sub two buyouts, where you can arbitrage those type of deals and help out your fellow American at the same token. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, because we're going to record this, we're going to go for about 30 minutes, and I'm going to share a property with you. We're going to go through it. It's a property that's in Northern California that is a pre-foreclosure, and it went from a pre-foreclosure to a notice of sale went to an REO, where it went back to the lender because nobody made any bids on it, and the lender just took it back. Sometimes there'll be a forbearance, sometimes there'll be a deed in lieu of foreclosure, and they'll just sign the house back over to the bank, and then the bank has it, and they have what's called an REO, real estate owned, and then they will liquidate the property and find a broker, clean it out, and then have an agent sell it. Okay, that's what the property that I'm going to share with you that went through. It went through that process. Our goal is to get the low hanging fruit. Get that low hanging fruit, right? Because look, the Black Rocks and all those companies, they're not going to go directly to the seller. They're going to go to the bank. They're going to go to the bank and buy hundreds, if not thousands, and tens of thousands of non-performing notes when the foreclosures start rolling, and they'll buy them at a discount, and then they'll cherry pick the good ones, keep the good ones, liquidate the ones that are shit on auction.com or Hubzu or whatever, or try to sell them to other real estate investors and sell them the dogs. That's what will happen. People, you can go to the banks, and these hedge funds and other companies will have some, and then they're going to unload them to investors as well. So there's a little chain, and HUD and FHA, all those types of not lending, but they're it's an organization where they'll grab, if they foreclose those properties, they're gonna unleash them. So the goal here is to catch them before they get to the bank, before they get to those platforms. So when a notice of default is filed, the seller is kind of feeling some emotion. They're like, you know what, I'm gonna get it taken care of, and it goes from 30,000 to 40,000, and it keeps getting higher and higher every payment that they don't make. And then we're going to have a time frame. That time frame is going to be, hey, you got about 90 days. After the 90 days, it's up to the bank. If the bank decides they want to, they're going to record what's called a notice of trustee sale. The attorney is going to add another $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 on top of the payments that are already missed, which is probably about 3 payments that they've already missed. So if you got 30,000, add another $2,000-$3,000 per payment times 3, plus another 4 or 5, you're creeping up there, right? So it doesn't get any better for the seller. The stress level gets higher. And then once it's a notice of trustee that's recorded, you got about 45 days, and the auction date is going to be set, and it's going to rock. Someone's going to, it's going to go to the auction. They may postpone it. They may not postpone it. Just depends. So they might file a bankruptcy or try to maneuver in some way, but the writing's on the wall. You're not going to get out of the situation. You're not going to fix it. You're not going to sue the bank. Those are just stall tactics at the end of the day. And it's inevitable. What's going to happen is the property's going to get foreclosed on, or an investor is going to buy it, or the seller is going to lose out on all their equity, and an investor will buy the property. If there's equity in the property, they're going to buy the property at the auction, and then they're going to go and do what the bank would do, which is evict the seller, give them notice, give them some cash for keys, take over the property, fix it, put it back on the market, resell it, or buy and hold if they're in buy and hold situation, or investors, okay? That's the scenario. If nobody buys it at the auction, like this particular property that I'm going to show you, right, then it goes back to the bank or the lender as an REO, real estate owned, and then they keep it. and then they're going to clean it up, or they're going to go ahead, like I said, and get a broker and then have it listed and liquidate the asset, or the liability, I should say, for the bank. Okay. Now, the banks do not want these properties. The more properties they get, the more non-performing notes they have. The government will not lend them what they were getting before. So maybe like right now they're getting money at 3%, 4%. If they get too many non-performing notes, then it's going to go up to 4, 5, and 6%. They cannot lend that money out. They can't make money on top of money. So they're going to go bankrupt, or they're going to close and shut down is what's going to happen. So eventually, when you have a bunch of simple supply and demand, when you have a bunch of pre-foreclosures, right, and a lot of non-performing notes, then banks start locking up the credit, start locking stuff up right now. Right now, if we have this inflation and things that are going on, so credit card companies are just throwing credit at people. Boom, boom, because they need to make money. They're not making money on the loans because there's not as many loans out there because they raised the freaking rates so high and dealing with this inflation crap that you're not seeing a lot of properties move. So the real estate is adjusting right now. And it's coming down to a level where people are willing to get a loan at that price point and they want to buy, and properties are selling where somebody is willing to pay. Because that's all it is, right? There's no magical formula. You can do a CMA, you can do an appraisal, but the property is going to sell for what someone is willing to buy it for. Plain and simple. That's just the way it goes at the end of the day, right? So you can't, there's no crystal ball. You can kind of guess and speculate. It's dangerous, but real estate is a better risk than the stock market, commodities, and all that, and crypto and all that other good stuff, because it's solid, right? It's more solid and established because you can touch it, you can feel it, you can see it, and you can kind of determine what the numbers are going to be at the end of the day. With the other stuff, it's hard. It's all speculation, and it is what it is, right? It's intangible stuff. This is tangible. It's a solid asset, but it takes longer to liquidate. Anyways, that's enough of that. I'm going to go ahead and show this property for you, but pre-foreclosure, okay? So we go after and find these properties, pre-foreclosure, low-hanging fruit, and you can go and get these anywhere. Find any data place. You can go to PropStream, Privy. You can go find it, on Fiverr with somebody who's willing to pull data for you. I wouldn't recommend that unless you know who they are and they got a good reputation. Go to REI Resource. That's where they have data, and a lot of companies buy data from that company anyways, and then distributes it out through an API or whatever. So whatever works for you, get the data. Grab those pre-foreclosures. So let's say, for example, you live in Texas. Let's say it's Houston, Texas, and you have some suburbs and some cities that you want to work in. You go to the software, you pull up those properties. You want to make sure they got some equity. Now, if you're going for like wholesaling, fix and flip, then you're going to want to make sure they got enough equity in there, 40, 50% equity, things of that nature. If you're going sub 2, you can have a little less equity, 25, 30, 35%. Equity is okay because we're leveraging the deal, and it's more about buying and holding and maybe some fix and flip, get in, get out very quickly. And so when you're looking at those properties, you want to make sure they got equity in the property, because there'll be a lot, and there'll be some that are upside down. You're not going to see a lot of short sales right now. I'm not going to get into that. But when the properties are over encumbered and the equity, there's not enough equity there, then it will be a short pay or a short sale, and the bank will have to sell at a discount. That's totally different, right? Now you will see some short sales out there because they're out there. Short sale. There's people working short sales, working a business out of short sales. More and more are coming across to a degree, not a lot, because a lot of people have equity in their properties. A lot of them are at 2, 3, and 4% equity. On another video, on another training, probably tomorrow, Friday highlights. So make sure you're here. Click the link, register with the survey so we can at least know who we're working with, or if you got questions, we'd love to help you and go through that process. But tomorrow for Friday highlights, we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about how you can arbitrage some of these sub 2 deals. Okay, or not sub. I always say sub 2. Some of these pre-foreclosures, right? Pre-foreclosures that have interest rates. Because right now you can't get an interest rate of 2-3%. Or even 4%, maybe 5%, but you can buy it down, right? And spend a bunch of money on points and all kinds of other stuff. But I'm going to show you how to arbitrage and grab one of those properties and do something with it where you can get a spread in there, and then get some equity, and then put some tenants in there, fix it, flip it, buy, hold it, depending on what it is, Airbnb it, depending on the location. So I'm going to get too much into that right now. It's all about pre-foreclosures, NODs and NOTs. And yes, Lis Pendens. Lis Pendens, like in Florida, they'll be in Missouri, in certain areas. And sometimes they have two types of foreclosures, even in the state, like foreclosure or Florida. They'll have a non-judicial and judicial, okay? Non-judicial is here in California. It's a full disclosure state. So you can go and pull up the information. You know who the seller is. I'm going to show that to you right now. Let me go ahead and pull this up real quick, and we'll share that with you. All right. So, like, for example, on this particular property, I'm going to share this property with you real quick. Okay. This is a Salinas property. It's a total developer type deal. It's a fixer upper, but better for a developer type person who has some experience. Okay. And then, but we're going to go here. I'm going to go to this. This is the property. So you can go, and it is the, what's his name? Milton's awesome guy. He's been in the business forever. So it's a shout out to Milton if you guys need some help, or you're in Southern California or all of California and you need some title help, or you need them to work on some of your deals, go to him. But the bottom line is, on this particular property, we pulled up the property, and here it is. As you can see, it came up, right? So we'll minus out. You can see it's up in the hills. So location. This one is in the mountains, so the location is going to be more expensive type property. It is in Monterey, California. Okay, so that's a good county. As you can see, keep on rolling. It's up in the mountains there, boom, and you can see the ocean's not too far. So I believe from this house you can see the ocean, which is awesome because location, and views means money. Okay, so let's go ahead and go back in here. I'm going to go ahead and click the profile so you can see it. All right, so here's this property here, right? Now, if we look at it, as you can see, it has 2.5 acres. It's residential vacant land. So you can turn it into maybe like assisted living. It could be some type of housing for, children, or maybe even a place for therapy, like autism. Make it a big autism house and all kinds of other stuff, since there's 2.5 acres, and turn it into a compound of some sort. Maybe even put some, tiny houses on them and things of that nature, along with this as a big facility, and rebuild it. But it's a development type deal, and it's in a great location. Okay. But anyways, that's that. So what happened here is that this property had a loan on. I'm going to give you a little bit of history on it. We're going to pull it up here, and it looks what happened. It looked like there was a loan on this property. So it looks like an investor already grabbed it and then needed a loan to fix it and flip it. And they went and got a loan, and then eventually they didn't follow through with that loan. Got another loan here by a private investor for 40, and then we had a notice of default. I don't think it's going to come up. Let's see. No, it's not. All right. But a notice of default came up, and then a notice of sale, if you notice. So notice of sale came up, and then the property was taken back by the lender on 3/22/23 for $200,000. Okay, plus there's expenses and all kinds of other stuff that goes on top of that. So let's go and take a look at the spread here. So we got 1, 2, 3 properties, looks like, right? We're looking at maybe price range. Now, this is not going to really make sense because we got land here and other properties, but we'll go ahead and pull it up on good old Zillow, because this is not going to make sense. This is just straight up for, let me see what we got here. Some vacant land, just vacant land, the land period, right? So the comps aren't very juicy, but if you look at the houses that are been around it, the neighborhood, they're not going to have price points, but they're going to have bathrooms. Let me see, 3-bedroom. We could pull up a house right here. Let's take a look at this in Salinas, California. And then we're going to do that real quick. Let me see if it comes up on the stream. Okay, good. Here we go. Awesome. All right, so let's view the tab. And now we're going to go ahead and take a look at this property. See what it's going for. So it's a 3-bedroom, 3.5 bath. Of course, it's 3,600 square foot, so it's a little bigger, right? But it's going for $2 million, $2.2 million. Rent's estimate is about $5,800. And if we go and we'll go back, we'll take a gander at this, right? And we're going to go back again. We'll take, that's that property there. Let's see if we got a 3-2, right? Because this house is we'll go back up here. And this is what do we got here? I believe it's, shit, we'll just pull it up. Let's pull the address up. Let's pull the address. Okay. Make sure you can see it. Okay, you can see it there. Cool. We're going to pull the address up. Boom. Let's go here. See what we got. And this is a 4-bedroom, 3-bath. Okay, so this is a 4-bedroom, 3-bath. 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,400 square foot. As you can see, right, this is a fixer-upper for sure. It's a developer type deal. Okay, let me go ahead and go back through this real quick. Let's look at value. Okay, let's go ahead and look at the value. So on this, it's not showing as estimate, right? But let's scroll down here and let's hit some other properties. Let's go back here. Let's hit little realtor.com. See if we can find a spread here of what properties are selling for. Let's go here. Redfin should have some other properties of what they're selling for. Okay. We're going to see if there's anything around. This is an area where there's probably not a lot of rentals, obviously. So let's scroll all the way down here. See if there's anything that we can see, except for land, huh? All right, 250, 1,200. Look at that little shack. That's a little shack, and that's $1.2 million, not even the hills. This is 1.3. This is probably just for land. This is Salinas. This is actually in Monterey, California. So we're going to look at Salinas. This is we'll pull this up, see what we get, and see what other properties pop up. As you can see, let's take a look at that. Look, that's just a house on a street, $1.2 million. And this property is selling for like $299 to probably $350, right? So scroll down. We'll screw down right here. Scroll down here, and we're gonna see these are just standard houses, as you can see, right? That one was. We're gonna put that address back in. Let's get. So what do we got here? Let's see what we got. Oh, okay, 1.1 to 1.2 million, and that's just for a standard house. Now we're gonna go out of here. So we go back there, and let's see what other houses are going for. Okay, real quick, and we'll pull this up here. We'll go to the Zestimate home value. Okay, so we're gonna look at the home value tab. Okay, we got 1.1 million, and it got skyrocketed, right? But that's pretty accurate because of the situation where it's at. Look, you got 8 million for land, 507,000. Let's see if we can scroll down some more. Let's take a look at this real quick. A map. I like to always look at this little map. If we got one here, there it is. Look. Scroll out. 4.8 million, 999,000, 2.2 million. It's like right down the street. It's not too far from this house. 1.4 million. Let's go back to that one. I saw this one here. I want to take a look at this. Let's do this one here. Okay. So that's the same property, $2.2 million, right? 1.3 million. Let's look at the houses around it. So they're going around a couple $1 million. Let's see if we can get some. So here we go. So here's the house that might be out there. So 1.4 million sold 9 months ago. This one, it's a 4 because the other property is a 4.2. This is a 4.3. This one sold a 5-bedroom, 3.3. This one might be not too bad, 1.6. 2 months ago. Let's take a look at it. You can see there is some scenery. Yeah, it's a pretty nice looking house too. That sold for 1.6 million. And can you imagine on this particular property, we're going to go back. All right. So let's see if you can see the stream. I'm going to go look at the stream real quick. So if you look at this property, and then we're going to go here, I'm going to share this with you. 5 more minutes. Okay. This is actually a pre-foreclosure. Okay. So I'm going to share this with you. And as you can see, it's a Salinas type deal, need to sell. All right. So we're looking at a purchase price of about 350. Okay. ARV 900 to 1.2 million. Okay. But as you see, we saw this property here. This property is at 1.6 million. It's a 3 bedroom, 3 bath, 2,800 square foot. It is a little bit bigger, right? So you got 1.6 sold on February 24, 2023. The estimate's up to 6.6 million. And we'll go ahead and pull this back up. And you can see, right? So we're not too far off the ARV. Yeah, is it going to need a lot of work? Yes, I'm going to show you some pictures, which are pretty crazy looking. All right, I got 4 more minutes. But this particular property, now pre-foreclosure. Okay, let's say you found it before it went back to the lender. Now let's say you find this property like the investor did. The investor found the property and then said, hey, I need some money. I'm going to buy it. Got a loan really cheap and picked up that piece of property there. Now they're going to turn into a development deal, right? Now you're going to need the foundation, septic, rooms, either rebuild the son of a buck, leave one wall up and redo it. And yeah, 150, 160, 70 bucks a square foot times, what is it, 2,000, 23, 2,400 square foot or square footage of the property. We're going to get up there, right? It's going to be 3, 4, 500,000 bucks to rebuild a custom badass house, right? And anything else that it may need. But then if you only got it for 100, what was it, 100, 198,000 bucks, 200 grand, and then obviously you're going to put 5 or 6, and it's worth what? 1.3, 1.4 million, maybe even more. Maybe you do a little, you do a different exit strategy where you turn it into maybe an autism house and some tiny homes on it. Maybe turn it into a little compound or village type property, and then get a nonprofit, and then maybe some government agency dollars to be able to do that, or assisted living, or some type of group home or co-living type of thing. Or maybe, I don't know if you can have horses or animals on there. Have to check the zoning, but you see where we're going with that for a cash flow type property. Or fix it up, build a custom home, and a nice family's going to go in there and buy it for 1.2, 1.6 million dollars or more, right? So the spread is there, and that's how you find these pre-foreclosures. There's going to be more pre-foreclosures that are not like this, but they're going to be maybe nice home in 2000, built in 2003, for an example, right? Coming up and down California, Texas, Florida, they're everywhere. Whether it's a $30,000 or $300,000 or a $3 million property out in Laguna Beach somewhere, the same principles there. They got behind on payments. And then once they get past a certain point, the bank is going to record a notice of default. When they record a notice of default, it goes on title as such. Now, Lis Pendens are different. That's judicial. They got to go to set a court date. They're going to go to court, and if they don't show up, then the judge stamps it. Boom. All right. Now we're gonna. That's done, and now the bank has to go through the proceedings to foreclose on the property. That could be a longer jam. Texas is pretty quick. California is probably quick, not as quick as Texas, but Florida and other states with the Lis Pendens just means like it's like the bank. No, they're both of them are suing. One's judicial, one's non-judicial. It just means that the process have to go to court and can take longer. Our goal is to find those properties before they get that judicial stamp, and the judge stamps it and goes boom, right? And for the purpose of this type of call, the purpose of this call and what we're doing here is non-judicial. So that just means a notice of default gets recorded, they're behind on back payments, and then that's where we come in. They're either going to get a text from us, ring us voice message, direct mail, postcard, door knock, call, whatever marketing type, as long as they raise their freaking hand, then we're going to go in, boom, and call the seller, work with them, get a full submission, do our due diligence, pull title like I shared with you. That was actual title report that I shared with you, right? And so you'll know who the seller is, what's on the first, on the second. We train on all that good stuff, right, through the American Mentee program also the art of the deal, so you understand how to speak with the seller, how to get all that information, so they tell you everything from birth until now. Make a friend, because if they like you, they're going to work with you. If they like you, they're going to buy from you. What do you have to sell? Well, you have the solutions. You have the solutions is what you're selling, right? You're providing solutions to those sellers. And at the same time, when you work with them, they may be in denial. It's okay. Follow up, follow up, follow up. Money is in the follow up. Okay. Once you're done with that and you lock up the deal, then you can sell it off, sell the paper, buy it, fix it, flip it, sub to it, keep it, whatever you're going to do. But the bottom line is you're going to work out an arrangement with the seller, work out some equity of what you're going to pay them, cash for keys. You get the keys in the remote, and then you switch some dollars, leave the house in broom swept condition, and then, throw away or donate whatever's left on the property and move forward with the execution of closing the property one way or another. That's the process. Now, some people are going to go and go, you know what, I got it fixed. I'm going to wait for this, or the bank's working with me 9 times out of 10. The bank does not give a shit. So they will foreclose no matter what. Just a number, a loan number, that's it. Unless you got billions in the bank, then, it doesn't mean anything. They're going to go ahead and they don't have to do a loan mod. They have to go through the process. They have to go through the process to make it legal, but they don't have to give you a loan mod. It's not guaranteed, right? And certain types of loans, they don't even have to. They just foreclose, and you go, once they do that, they're going to record what's called an NOT, a notice of trustee sale. And then it's going to set an auction date. And then you're going to see it at the courthouse steps where people go, and you're going to have to, bid on that property. Now, the good old boys with a bunch of money and suitcases of money are going to be there. They got runners. They take a look, and they'll go buy that some, but cash. You won't be able to compete with them unless you have cash. So the goal is to get them at that point. Get them before it goes to the auction. Get that low-hanging fruit before it gets to the auction, right? Then you're able to lock up the property, do what you need to do, get hard money, private money, or sell it off, or work out however, but with smaller amounts of dollars. Leverage the deal. Okay, that's the goal. If it goes to the auction, you better have some money, and then you're going to bid against some other high-ranking people that may or may not let you into the good old boy club and let you buy those things, right? They may or may not. It's a different jam now with that, so we want to avoid that. Anyways, that's how that works, and so it's always good to get your NODs and your data. Pro tip: you can get them right when they come out, but the sellers are still going to be in a little bit of denial unless they're like, I'm done, I'm good, just take the shit off my house. Or could be good for listing. Go 30 days, 60 days, and 90 days out. If you go 90 days out, they're pretty beat up in the program, the system. They're like, man, I'm just tired. Make me an offer. I tried to list it. I tried this. I tried that. Didn't work. And that's where you come in. All right. And then even then, it might go past that and it may become a notice of trustee sale. Usually, if you're going to get notice of trustees, go back about 2 weeks. Okay, 2 weeks. Go back 2 weeks. But then work them hard. I don't care if you got a door knock, if you got a call, if you got to send people out there and send them postcards and direct mail and text and everything. As long as they raise their hand, a lot of them are going to be at the door and say, which happens that I find out because I've spoke with a lot of newbies and they go, I was at the door and I tried to do this and do that. They just kept saying, it's over. They're taking my house. I'm done. No, it's not true. We have time. We've done it where it's up to 24 to 48 hours where we're running a cashier's check, right, to the beneficiary to stop the sale of the property. There's a couple other things that you can do to slow down or stop the actual pre-foreclosure. But we're not going to get into that. So hopefully this is you got some value on this. I'm going to go ahead and close this up. We're at 33 minutes. But let's go ahead and go to the next slide. As you can see, this deal, there's a couple of acres on it, so that's a good thing. The property is pretty thrashed, as you can see. It looks like the foundation fell through, or the septic and the thing just dropped through the middle. You can see the starter's trying to work on it and get it going. And there's some of the inside of the property. I have a crazy picture, but I don't have it here right now. And then obviously everybody comes aboard. We build these carrots out for every single deal, and then we send them out to buyers to help you build a buyer's list and to work deals. So without further ado, rock and roll and all that you do. Hopefully this training was helpful for the foreclosures and NODs, NOTs, and the Lis Pendens. You can do this anywhere. They're out there. If you cannot get them, you can still pull the data, but the bad data might not be as fresh. Like in Texas, you can go straight to the county courthouse. You can go to county courthouse anywhere, any county, and buy NOD list. Now, they maybe $1 a record, maybe 15 cents, 20 cents, a little more expensive. Or you can get it from PropStream, Privy, or REI Resource, or any online software that deals with data, where you can pull data. So, but the main thing is you want to pull good data. You don't want to pull outdated data where they've already sold the property or it's already listed. So you want to make sure that the data is accurate and go back. You can get fresh NODs and NOTs. Make sure it's about 2 weeks out. Those you probably should work first, right? Because they're like the super motivated ones. And then maybe 30 days, test out 60 days, and then test out the 90 days. 90 days out, they're going to be ready to rock and roll unless they've got it taken care of. Maybe they got it listed, or maybe they did a loan mod or in the process of doing a loan mod, right? And hopefully it works out for them. God bless them. But if not, you, us, and others that do this business, AHA, Americans Helping Americans, one American at a time, one property at a time, one family at a time, doing our part to get America back on track together with you and others across the United States, excuse me, of America, always live and uncut. I'm Eric from the Amp Live Real Estate Show. Hopefully you got some value, and we're going to continue to do this type of training inside of the group. Only inside the group. Unless you become a mentee, then hey, we share all these goodies with you, but it's more intimate. We're actually breaking down stuff. We're working deals, kind of like we're doing here, and sharing this information. We're going to dig even deeper into the pre-foreclosure arena and game. Without further ado, rock and roll with all what you do. I'm going to sign off here. We've already went over 30 minutes. Hopefully you get value in this. It is going to be recorded and inside of the group, and hopefully we can do some business together, okay? So go out there and hunt those deals. If you have questions about pre-foreclosures, put it in the group. Hey, I found one. What do you think of this? We'll underwrite. We'll help you. We'll point you in the right direction. If you can get the deal done, awesome. If you want to sell the deal to us, awesome. You want to work it, earn and learn? Perfect. That's what this is designed to do. All right. Have a rock and roll day. Bye-bye.